Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be back with another expert today. Right now, we have somebody who has years of experience in public health. We have today with us Ekta Saroha. Let's listen to her. Over to you, Ekta. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Professor Mathur. Thank you for inviting me to your show and giving me this opportunity to talk to you and talk to many people who will be listening to this. So very grateful to you to give me a place and a space to, talk about a few things that make a lot of sense to me. So, just a little bit about myself. I'm Ekta Saroha, and I have been practicing public health for 27 years now. So, I am a doctor of public health, which basically means that I work on health programs which are led by the government of India. And so my role becomes that I support the planning, the designing, and the implementation of those programs. Currently, I am a faculty, I'm in a teaching role, and I think this teaching role has given me a lot of insights into uh, who I am and who I am as a professional as well as at the personal level. So I think for the first time in my life, I'm experiencing that there are a good number of youngsters who look up to people like you and I for guidance, for or just simply that they just want to understand from us as to what future is going to look like, what is it that they should be prepared for. Earlier, I used to get nervous to be in this role, and I would be like, I don't know what to say. But slowly, I'm gaining the confidence that if somebody's looking up to me, then I should, update my knowledge, whether it is about making a career choice or any issues at the personal front. So I'm trying my best to live up to their expectations. So, what I would like to talk about today might sound like a very mundane topic, but in past couple of weeks, I have been thinking about it. I got very intrigued about it, and I started thinking about it very deeply. Is the concept of friendship. Although this is not my area of expertise, not at all. I'm going to talk like a, more or less like a layperson, things that I have picked from here and there, from Google, from Wikipedia, and all the places. But I was just thinking that how this concept of friendship or this action of friendship is relevant and important to us human beings. So I also jotted down a few interesting facts about friendship, which I think I would like to share over here today. And while doing that, another realization that I had is that when we are talking about when we decide to talk about a topic, then it becomes, I think, interesting when we try to look at it from various angles, from various sciences, from various philosophies. And I think the pattern probably is that we look at a concept or a topic from the angle of, what is the history of it? What is it that we learn about it from mythology? What's there about it in science or in our environment, in our society? So I am trying to look at it from all those dimensions, or maybe from some of those dimensions, and it kind of became very interesting inquiry to get into. So I think what I have learned is that when we are seeking out a friend, when we want to create the bond of friendship, what we are looking out for is somebody who can offer us some care, some concern. We are looking for loyalty, we are looking for trust, and we are looking for empathy. And I think the bond of friendship starts from early years when we are still a kid. At that time, probably we don't have we don't have this much of clarity about what we are looking for. We are probably looking for a bond. We are looking for somebody who is like us and who's going to be interested in things that we are excited about. And slowly that bond grows, and then we started seeing that we are also looking out for one another, we are caring for one another, and that's that becomes the foundation of a friendship wherein there is reciprocal altruism. And that I feel is very beautiful, because
Doc,
we are.
you used a term there, I think I heard you say it, which not many people, some people may not be familiar with. Did you say reciprocal altruism?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
could you
yes.
explain that? Because I think it's, at least I've heard it for the first time. And
Okay,
maybe
okay.
people aren't familiar with it. And you used it so casually as if we all know it. So let's hear
Okay.
it. Right.
Sure, sure, sure. So altruism is like doing good without an expectation that another person will do good to me.
Mhm.
But and reciprocal is when we are saying that, okay, you do good to me, I will also do good to you.
Yeah,
So that's how these two words come together.
yeah,
And in the context of friendship, it
yeah.
becomes, I think it kind of is, what should I say? It is not very, uh, it's not intentional. It is not something that we approach it with knowing that this is what I'm going to get into. But it is the human nature that if you are doing something good to me, I will feel obliged to reciprocate it one day or the other. And this thing is kind of given when we are interacting with family members, people who we are related to. It's a blood bond that my siblings, my parents. That's where it is like a given thing. We do it, and we also uh, accept it from the other person. But friendship is with a stranger. So, with a stranger, when we have this feeling, when we have this consciousness, when we have this thing that I need to look out for this stranger, this person who I like hanging out with, doing things with, playing with, and all that. And the other person also does the same thing. So I think that's very beautiful about us human beings. That deep down we want to be in an environment where everybody looks out for one another. So probably when I'm talking about all these things, I'm, picturing a very fairy tale world where everything is really beautiful and nice. But yeah, there are times, there are spaces when we see these beautiful bonds growing. And yeah, there are times when, your friends let you down, or you just think that somebody is a friend, and then you realize that wasn't a healthy relationship. So there are those instances as well. I would not deny that. But, uh, you know, uh, seeking out a total stranger, somebody who we have probably met while playing, while studying, or while, in an environment which is outside our homes. So, if when we manage to have a few instances where we feel that we can trust that person, and then we take this trust to the level where we start doing good for one another, I think that's very very unique, and it's very precious. So I think what I'm trying to say over here is that when our subconscious guides us to trust the other, to trust a stranger, then we are able to create an enabling environment where love and prosperity, and uh, uh, some kind of a trust can germinate, and it ends up being uh, uh, fruitful, and beneficial not to these two individuals who are getting into a friendship bond, but also to the people and the environment around them. And then when I started digging into the mythology of friendship, so an interesting thing that I came across, that Hindu mythology, the god of friendship is Mitra. And interestingly, the Persian mythology also says that the god of friendship is Mitra. So that's another interesting thing that I came across. And the god of this god of friendship, which is Mitra, is also the god of justice, contracts, and oaths. So these are the values that come with friendship. Imagine, like, the mythology is putting just one god who's going to take care of not only the friendship but also oaths, contracts, and justice. Then that is giving us a message that with the strangers, if this is how you are going to be, then you are going to create a space, a society, and a community wherein people can thrive and people can enjoy their daily lives. So at the heart of it is that we human beings, we look out for one another and we care for one another. And these days when we see so much of wars and conflicts in different parts of the world, that's where we see how there can be unfortunate times when these bonds are not able to get created. And there will be then, small anecdotes here and there that despite the conflicts or wars in that particular area, people did look out for one another, irrespective of where they were coming from. And the when we are seeking out friends as kids, what I learned is that at that time, the primary need is to help us understand how do I navigate this complex social environment that I'm living in. And it's like the buddy or the friend is going to tell you a few things that they already know, maybe because they are older than you by a couple of months, or they are older than you by a couple of years, or they have had more experiences compared to you. But that's how the friend will lead you, and they will tell you that this is the upcoming complexity and this is what you can do around it. And they would along the way we would learn the problem solving techniques, and we would also be able to when we are building a bond, we are able to open up to one another, we are able to understand their perspectives, and we are also when we are standing up for them, we are giving them the support. Another important or very uh, interesting fact is that friendships, I think, are the first connection of ours with a stranger where we let our guard down, where we are comfortable being vulnerable. And with us human beings, becoming vulnerable and you know letting another person see that we are feeling weak and we are feeling very resourceless is something which brings in a lot of hesitation and a lot of apprehension. But if we have managed to let our guard down with a stranger, that's the initiation of building trusts with a person who you know very little about. And friends are something that we, most of in most cases, we choose on our own. with little family support. There are times when even the family would help us go and find a friend, but most of the times the family or the parents would nudge their kid to go and find a friend on their own rather than they facilitating it. So when we take the challenge, or when we have the courage to go and make a choice about uh, making a bond of friendship with another person, wherein we are going to be vulnerable, we are going to create that space of trust, that is a very bold step, no matter at what age you are doing it, whether you are doing it as a kid or whether you are doing it in your adult life. And there are, uh, there are families that would encourage it, they would support it throughout. And that's where, the risk taking starts. And when you are able to also see that uh, this friendship or this bond is not something which is yielding what I would like it to yield, then you also have the option to walk out of it with regrets. But that's another way of experiencing the making and breaking of a relationship. And the another insight that I had was that the need for a friendship could be for emotional support, for emotional disclosure, or for emotional reassurance. Friendships also give us opportunities. It helps us to acquire status. It helps us to boost reputation. And sometimes we also look for friendships when we are looking for some physical aid. And when I was reading about it, so it said that the former were more for women. That's what women were looking for: emotional support and the emotional reassurance. And the latter one were for the men. But now we see that these gender binaries are becoming so blurred. So I would not like to put it in the male female dichotomy and kind of restrict that if you are a woman, you're only looking for emotional support. So it could go either way. It would depend on individuals' need at that time. And in health sciences, what they say is that friendships are behavioral vaccine. So they boost both mental and physical health. And I can say that with pride and with confidence that yes, they are a behavioral vaccine. I have personally benefited a lot from the behavioral vaccine called friendship. Uh, and when we are young, we are going to school, we are going to playgrounds. At that time, making friends is, as I said, effortless. But as we grow older and we start realizing that there are also threats out there, then we start raising our guard, and we are not that comfortable just becoming vulnerable or exposing ourselves to the other person. And that's when we see that when we are in when we start our professional life. At that time, we are left with very few friends. We are not bonding with everyone. We start setting our boundaries, we start setting our limitations. And then when we start growing old, at that time we are looking more for an emotional bond that can be provided by a stranger when we start losing family members, or when it's an empty nest and we need to fill that void. So all these insights that I have about friendship, uh, and the reason that I'm sharing these insights today is because I would like to use your channel to acknowledge and honor a friend that is very close to me. We have been friends for 33 years now. and very proud of it. And we are still, going strong with our bond. And today is her birthday. And I would like to, yeah, I would like to wish her a very happy birthday.
Yeah.
And yeah, so her name is Sabadanisha, and she now lives in New Jersey. So we are in opposite time zones. So
Yeah.
that despite that, if the friendship has been
Yeah.
around for 33 years, that means that
Yeah.
it is really it's real. It's real.
Yeah.
So and all these years, there have been so many times that I have
Yeah.
been, there have been challenges where I was feeling very roughed up, but my friend Saba was the one who picked me up, who dusted me, who wiped my tears, straightened my hair, and turned my frown upside down and said that let's steer through this. And that's the beautiful support that I have received from her. And when I look at where she's coming from, where I'm coming from, we are very, very different. So I sometimes I'm like, we don't have that much in common, yet we are going strong. And when I wish her on her birthday, uh, I'm not just coming up with a hollow wish that you be happy and all that, because I strongly feel that our wishes can also be translated into action.
Mm.
We get when I'm saying I wish you well, then of course there is an opportunity for me, and I also have the ability to create those happy moments, whether these moments are just for a
Mm.
minute or two or something.
Mm.
But uh, to create those happy moments, those small moments in an individual's life are going to create a space which would be filled with love and prosperity. And when we receive it, then we are also very generous in giving it back to either the friend or to the family members around us. So in this time where in around the world we are seeing so much of hatred and whatnot, I would like to just give a message that kindness begets kindness, and it is possible. So that's the only message that I want to send out today. Thank you so much, Professor Mathur.
Okay, thank you so much. Since you are a faculty member, let me ask you sort of a question that has been in my mind for some time. It's an academic type question. I won't ask normal people about it, but let me
Mhm.
ask you. Okay. So in India, we have seen in the cities a decline of the joint family. Okay.
Mhm.
And I think to some people say, well, we have now nuclear families, but I feel that's missing the point. We now have extended families rather than there's a core, but then there is a big surrounding thing. So, to what extent do friends make an extended family? Friendship is part of extended family, or how does it fit in? I mean, let's hear it from you.
I think, yeah, friend can be classified as part of extended family. And as you're mentioning that, in cities, I think we are replacing the comfort and the love that we were receiving from the joint family with the friends. And I would say that replacing the joint family with a friend is more daring as human beings, because we are getting into a completely unknown environment. With
Okay.
joint family, we know what to expect,
Okay.
what the other person is going to be like.
Yeah.
But when we seek out a friend, it could be somebody who's from a different religion, from a different class, caste, gender, and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's where most of our inhibitions are.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. All right. You mentioned very briefly, but I want to touch upon it and get your further thoughts on it. Uh, Loneliness. It's becoming I said extended family, but not everybody has an extended family. And even if they have, as you said, they are not close by. So
Mhm.
loneliness is becoming a public health issue, in my
Mhm.
opinion. And it has come into even India. We say, no, we are all socially connected and all. But unfortunately, that is an idealism. Okay, people,
Yeah.
loneliness has increased, maybe not in small towns, but certainly India is becoming more and more urban, in big city urban, not in small city urban. So how do you see this? I mean, what do you think about it?
It breaks my heart, and I will give you an example, not just from my family, but around where I live, that I see a lot of elderly people, like people your age.
Yeah.
Sorry if I
Yeah,
call you
it's
elderly.
okay.
Yeah.
I am elderly. I'm proud of
Yeah.
it.
So people who have lost their spouse, or the kids are not around.
Yeah,
A lot of them say things like that, I want to be independent. I
yeah,
don't want anybody to, I don't want my family members to feel that I have become a burden, or I have become a responsibility for them, and they are not able to lead their life because they have to take care of me.
mm,
That makes me sad. I'm
mm,
like, I don't think our relationships should become so we need not be this guarded and this careful all the time, that we start thinking that we can't expect another person to be there for us.
mm,
So I don't know what's the solution, what's the answer to this, but
mm,
yeah, I think this is also one reason for people uh, choosing to be lonely, and then realizing that it kind of kills them,
mm,
because one thing is that they are constantly under the pressure. They shouldn't go out and ask for help, or ask for
yeah,
emotional support, or any kind of support.
mm,
And when they have to do that, then
mm,
they feel that they are becoming a liability, they are
mm,
burdening the other person.
yeah,
So we need to talk about it. I think we need to
yeah,
have conversations around it, wherein we can
mm,
communicate that probably this is what you're imagining, that if I have to do something for you, then I'm looking at it as a burden.
mm.
I think talking about it is going to give us a lot of answers.
Okay. Well, let me just press on that a little bit. Uh, the issue is that as the number of children, or the TFR, is
Mhm.
declining. Okay.
Mhm.
What that means is that the ratio of caregivers, younger caregivers, so to speak, in the
Yeah.
extended family is declining. So, how are we? This is a ticking time bomb, and it's
Mhm.
already exploded in China. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because China actually passed a law that
True.
no, that you have to visit your grandparents. It's a law.
Oh, is it?
It's a law.
Oh
Because the
gosh.
bomb has already exploded. That
Wow.
they in 2014 they passed a law that you have to see your grandparents X times a year because
Interesting.
they, but it's coming in India. So what I'm
Yeah.
saying is that since you are research and academic type, I'm discussing it with you that Indian society is not prepared. We are still living in this dream world that we have joint families, and if we don't have joint families, we have very good social networks. It's not like the Western countries where people don't know who their neighbor is. Here we know each other. We're living in an illusion, I think. So, what do you think is sort of a social innovation? Like I read that in Italy, what they've done is, Italy, the problem is too many elderly people and too few kids. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
they started putting elementary schools
Mhm. Mhm.
in the same building as the old people's homes.
I
Okay.
heard about that.
Right. So
Yeah.
that at least they feel, the kids go and come. They're not talking to them, but they're around. Okay.
Mhm.
So what do you
Mhm.
think? Do you think at all in India we need to start thinking about this ticking time bomb?
I think so. I will share an example or something that I learned recently. I think 1st October is the World Elderly Day or
Yeah.
something like that across the globe. And there was an event at the India Habitat Center in Lodi Road, and I happened to attend that event. Although elderly care is not my area of expertise, not my research or intervention expertise, but I was invited to that, so I was filling in for a faculty member.
Mm,
And over there, I learned, in fact, there were senior citizen groups who were attending that event, and they requested. So it was a very nice event where they have invited the school children, the college students, and on the other hand, the senior citizens. So the senior citizens said that we would like the school kids to come to our kirtan mandali or the bhajan mandali and spend time with us. And there are schools who have all this part of their curriculum, that they encourage and they facilitate the students to go and spend time with the elderly. And I felt that at this point in time, their reason for approaching this was not probably not to address loneliness, but they said that this would be an opportunity for us to pass on the wisdom,
yeah.
which again is very beautiful. So they're like, the connection between the grandparents and the grandchildren is becoming so lean these days that this could be a space for us where
Mm,
the young kids come and tell
mm,
us how to use the cell phone
mm,
or how to navigate the technology, and we
mm,
on the other hand will share with them our life experiences, our learnings, and
mm,
things like that.
mm.
So I think after hearing from you, I would go and explore more as to what India is planning to do vis-a-vis loneliness, especially among the elderly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think you would have probably heard about these AI apps for the AI boyfriend, the
Yeah.
AI girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And I was watching a documentary wherein I got scared looking at that. I'm like, oh goodness,
yeah.
this is how we are going to beat loneliness. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to add here?
No, I think you have made me curious about it now. So I will go and read about it more. And thankfully, I'm in a space where I have students coming to me, coming up with interesting things that they want to research. So I will just grab a student and tell them, let's work on this topic and let's see what we can find.
Okay. But before you go, you have only talked about the professional side. I want to come to you towards your personal career goal because it's not linear. Okay, your career is not linear. And it wasn't the case for most people of your age, my age. We all had linear lives. One
Mhm.
spouse, one job. Okay.
Yeah,
Today, I don't
yeah.
know. So, but the young people, I think they need to understand, get something from you as to how you shifted around your career choices, what drove you to what you did in your bachelor's, then in your master's, and your research and all this. So, could you just talk about that?
Sure, sure. And I will be very, very honest with them because, people kind of look up to me and I tell them that this was just accident. I was seriously no design, nothing, no strategy, nothing.
Mm,
Only now I'm like, I should have had a strategy in my life. Then I could have done much more.
mhm,
But so how it happened to me with that during my school days, I was a very mediocre student. I wasn't somebody who was
mm,
among the top three or
mm,
anything like that.
mm,
I was mediocre.
mm,
And then for my bachelor's, I did my bachelor's in geography from Miranda House simply because I had scored good marks in geography. And yeah, I was interested of all the topics that were out there. Geography made some sense to
mm,
me. So
mm,
that's how I ended up doing bachelor's in geography.
mm,
Then came time to do my master's.
mm,
And I was like, is there a need to do a master's? Can I
mm,
just not, go to YMCA and do a course of receptionist or something like that? So those were my ambitions. Those were my career goals.
mm,
But my sister, who's older to me,
mm,
she's very bright and all that. So she threw a fit. She said, you are going to become a receptionist? What? And so I said, okay, what should I be doing? So she said, go and do your master's in social work.
mm,
I had no clue what
mm,
it meant to study
mm,
social work.
mm,
Absolutely no clue.
mm,
But I was just towing her. I was
mm,
tagging along. And
mm,
then where I went to Jamia Millia Islamia, and we had, I would say that, I would say that in the classrooms, probably I didn't understand much,
mm,
this theory, that theory, Karl Marx, and blah, blah, blah. But what really made sense to me, because I am realizing that I'm more of a tangible person. When I see something, when I do something, it makes sense to me. So
mm,
they used to give us a lot of opportunities to go out and do things.
mm,
So that would mean that you go and work with a non-governmental organization, with an NGO, and
mm,
see what they are doing,
mm,
help them with their activities and all
mm,
that.
mm,
And that kind of started interesting me. I was like, yeah, I can actually do something. Whether
mm,
I am doing it right or not, I don't know, but stay in motion, do
mm,
some action. And that was 1997. And that was the HIV time.
mm.
So HIV was like all over the place.
Right,
It was
right,
a
right,
very,
right.
very scary time. That was for the first time, and we were like from very conservative background and all. For the first time, we started talking about sex. We
Yeah,
started talking about reproductive health. We started
right.
talking about, whatnot. So we were shy, we were very unsure, but that's where I learned everything about, reproductive health, sexually
Mm,
transmitted infections, HIV protection, and all.
mm,
I think most of us, we learned about reproductive health on the job. So
mm,
I started my career as a HIV professional,
mm,
and because of the focus on HIV prevention and so much of funding that was coming in into the country, there were jobs. Definitely, there were jobs, and there were also experts who were coming from various parts of the world.
mm,
So that was another opportunity where I could talk to, people like you, Professor blah, 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 which we thought, just were in names. They were
mm,
not real people.
mm,
So we could interact with them, we could
mm,
learn from them.
mm,
And that's when I started becoming very interested in what I was
mm,
doing. And I could see that,
mm,
whatever I'm doing
mm,
is very meaningful. It
mm,
is not just 9 to 5 job.
mm,
And then so I worked for about 5 years
mm,
in the domain of HIV, or maternal and child health.
mm,
uh, that's what were the government priorities at that time. And while working, as I said, that I was getting in touch with the people from the top universities in the world, and that's where I interacted with Dr. Leela K. Libworky. She was a Hopkins graduate. She's a nurse from Rajkumari Amritkar Nursing College, and then she did her doctorate from Hopkins, and then she was working in India. And in the same job, I also interacted with Professor Lynn Sibley. She was at Emory University, again a nurse, and with a doctorate in epidemiology. And they encouraged me. They said that, you have to make it big. You have to go and get a doctoral degree. Again, I was so apprehensive, so unsure. I was like, I don't know what you people are talking about. But I think one thing that they identified in me, and one thing that they, I would say, sort of invested in, for a young person like me, they were like, this is somebody who can be groomed into a scholar. And what they saw in me was that commitment and hard work. They were like, she is somebody who's, if you give her something to do, she will make it happen, and she will do it to perfection. And that's what they decided to invest in. And then I applied for grad schools in the US, and then I got selected at the University of Alabama in Birmingham. And I spent about 5, 6 years at UAB, getting my doctorate in public health. And very, very difficult, very, very tough, because I was going from a very non-health background into public health and epidemiology and all that. So it was an uphill task for me. I was in tears so many times. I was like, I'm going to quit, and I cannot do this. But Professor Maya Altras is somebody I look up to. Whatever I know today in public health is simply because of her. So I owe it all to her. And today, when I look back, I'm like, I'm glad I did it. It was difficult, it was backbreaking, it was challenging on all the grounds. But today I don't have any regrets, and I'm like, I'm glad I did it. And now I feel that it is my turn to give it back. When students come to me, I encourage them, I tell them that if you have, most of our students are from dental background, they would have a bachelor's in dental surgery or bachelor's in physiotherapy. And I would push them to go and get a master's or a doctorate in sociology or in anthropology. So I'm like, in my experience, what I have learned is that if you open up yourself to different knowledge bases out there, then you learn more. You are on mute. You are on mute. Sir, you are on mute.
I know. So thank you so much. I think it's a very good explanation that all careers are not always planned.
Yeah.
But you
Okay.
have to be aware of the opportunities,
True.
and you have to sort of know which fits you at what time. And this, I think, is becoming more the norm in India rather than the old grandfather style. You get one job and you stick to it for your life.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really, I think, changing, and young people should understand. They do know it, but sometimes their parents don't.
Exactly.
Sometimes their parents don't know it. Okay, well, that's wonderful. Thank you. You have covered such a different topic, which I had no idea you were going to talk about, and certainly great to hear from you. And since I always let the speaker have the last word. So since I spoke after you, please have the final word.
Well, sir, thank you so much. I knew that you will give me the space to talk about whatever I want to talk about. So I grabbed this opportunity. And thank you one more time for creating
All
this
right.
channel,
Yeah.
giving a voice to people like us. Thank you so
Okay.
much, sir.
Stay online. I want to talk to you after we stop the recording.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Bye, everybody. I'll be back with another young person or an expert. Bye.